This clip is brought to you by BoutThatOnline.com.
So, comedian Jess Hilarious has chimed in on Master P, owing her over 10K. So, she has recently been co-hosting on The Breakfast Club along with DJ Envy and Charlamagne. And they recently, on the Rumor Report, explored the idea of Master P and Fat Trel's issues. So, let's check out some of this clip.
Listen, so yeah, Master P is tired of his former artist speaking negatively about him after leaving No Limit. Now, his comments are inspired by his former artist, Fat Trel. I didn't even know that was his artist. This is
I know Fat Trel was his artist either.
Yeah, DMV based. I didn't know. Yeah, we got some of what he said. Go ahead, Ro.
So just to cut it right there, I don't personally think all of P's statements were towards Fat Trel. Now, we do know Fat Trel recently had an interview speaking on his dealings, but they've kind of put it out there like P's responding to Fat Trel. We personally think there's a lot of different people he could be responding to in terms of interviews, but let's get back to this.
If you don't want to be with me, I don't want to be with you. It's almost like in a relationship.
Yep.
I ain't trying to hold you back.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these artists, whenever they say they didn't want to be with No Limit or they figure that they could go and move on, I tear their contract up. I ain't took no money from them. I let them go. And some of them I didn't even sign contracts with. That's what I call ungratefulness. If you moved on 10 or 15 or 20 years after me, why are you talking about me?
Wow, we still,
I
forgot.
Yeah, and so if you look at it, right, who y'all know in this business allow people to go sign with other companies, but they never talk about those other companies after they moved on. They still talking about me. Yeah.
And another thing is,
But it should be a law. After 7 years, you shouldn't be allowed to go on no podcast and talk about nobody. Think about it. It's a statute of limitation. Please, if you ain't been around that person in over 7 years, please, you don't even deserve to talk about them.
Yeah, so there we go. We actually had shared that clip prior before, and some of you guys let us know your thoughts about it. Now, a lot of people have chimed in saying they feel P is right, and we've had others chime in and say, well, if it's bad business, it's bad business, and people have the right to speak their mind. So, let us know on that topic. I mean, even myself, I recently had to address this with somebody on Facebook who surprisingly, it was a photographer around No Limit, and he said, if it's bad business, it's bad business. And there you see, I said to him, I'm surprised, that you feel that way, because knowing his, I guess, affiliation and stuff with No Limit is very surprising and very shocking. So this was the same person who, when I was out in Louisville, he had actually taken a picture of me, P and Romeo, I should say, because my camera had an issue with the flash, and he took it on his camera. Subsequently, when I got back to the UK, he charged me for the picture, said he's not gonna send it over unless I send him over, I believe it was $50 at the time. So, I definitely thought that was uncouth and unbrotherly. But back to the topic.
If it was 7 years, 11 years, if you did something to me and I have something to say,
I'ma say it.
That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you're not the only one out here being talked about. We got Diddy, people still talking about Diddy. We got people talking about Mace because what happened to him.
They talked about Jay.
He's now Jay. Mm-hmm. So many people. So you're not the only person. And basically it all boils down to this. Fat Trel said that he was promised by Master P that he would be put in a Menace to Society sequel that never came to fruition.
Yeah, so, Jess Hilarious, just to cut back in, she made some great points there saying it doesn't matter how long it's been. If somebody feels you've done something wrong, you've done something wrong. And she said, look at all these other celebrities and stuff that these things happen to in terms of people speaking about. We have heard Master P in the past chime in and defend others. So, it's not really strange that he is saying this, but let us know your thoughts.
Master P doing Menace to Society sequel.
He never even did the first one or the second one. Now, Master P said he never mentioned making a Menace to Society sequel. He wanted to make a movie like Menace to Society.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he wanted Gucci Man to be in it, but Gucci was getting locked up all the time. Mm-hmm. But So he just was like, he put the idea to rest. But Fat Trel was like, yo, you still promised me to be in this movie or whatever. And so he was like, I don't want to be with you no more. Now, I see both sides. Fat Trel, I get it. He like, look, yo, that was like a bit of a temper tantrum to me, a little bit. But I do believe him. I do believe that Master P, because that man will talk a good game too.
So then we see Jess Hilarious saying, once again, chiming in on the Fat Trel situation, where I do digress. I do believe that this doesn't have so much to do with Fat Trel as people are exemplifying. I do believe it's other artists from No Limit, especially when he's talking about 7 and 10 year history. I know it's probably been about, could have been about 7 years since, they did the Louis V Mob stuff with Fat Trel. I don't know. Somebody would have to let me know in the comments. I don't believe it has been that long, but time does fly.
Like, even with me, I got the hookup. I'm still owed some bread for that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Did he pay you at all?
Yeah. For the first scene, and then I did 2 scenes. He thought because he used 1 scene, he ain't got paid for the second one. No, I stayed there for 13 hours to do 2 scenes.
How much you owe you?
But that's not how it works. Though. I thought you get paid for a movie. Don't you get paid for the whole movie?
I do by scene when it's come to a skit movie like that. It's
what?
You know, I got the hookup was a long skit.
It was a skit.
It was a bunch of skits.
How much you owe you?
I like to charge $15,000 per skit.
That was a long time ago, though. So your number done went up since then.
Man, it ain't been 7 years, so I can still talk about this. I can still talk about this. I don't care. As soon as you give me the check, we'll be good, man.
So she make a great point right there, but definitely a great comedian. She says it's, it hasn't been 7 years, so she can speak on it in inference to P's statements. And, in regards to the movie, it was a huge skit movie. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think she should just be paid for what she did or be paid for whatever deal that they made? I mean, the movie itself, to me, it wasn't the best, just putting all those people together in those skits and stuff like that. I'm sure it spanned and created and generated some money for those guys. But I think for the fans and a lot of people were left disappointed. And it seems so that some of the actors were left that way too.
You were charging him per skit for the movie.
Yeah, well, actually,
did he know that?
Yeah, he knew what you talking about. He signed on it. What you talking about? We signed back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he owe you 15 racks?
Yeah, I try. I hit Romeo. I hit everybody. But they got their own problems, so it's a lot going on, So I'm gonna wait till it die down again. But Fat Trel, I get where he coming from.
Okay.
So what do you guys think that we hear Jess Hilarious saying she gets where Fat Trel is coming from and believes that she is owed some money for her involvement in I Got the Hook Up too? Do you guys still agree, Master P? Do you feel as though there should be a statute of limitations for people speaking on old things? Do you think once it's done, it's done? You think there's 2 sides to every story? I mean, let us know your thoughts down below. Peace, family. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on abouttheonline.com. Check us out on Facebook for exclusive playlists and social media for all different types of segments and content.